In the latest episode of Studio 1.0, former federal prosecutor turned crypto venture capitalist Katie Haun shares her outlook on cryptocurrency markets. Haun sits down with Bloomberg Technology's Emily Chang to discuss why she left storied venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz to launch her own firm, Haun Ventures, and just how hard it was to do so. Take a listen.
What I set out to do was to continue to invest in this ecosystem that I think is so broad. The decision was very purposeful, and the timing was very purposeful. We have an early stage fund that does seed stage, Series A, even Series B, and then we have what we call an acceleration fund, which is, it's not a growth fund, it's a crypto growth fund, and I think those are different things, but it's later stage. It might be crypto publics. Certain kinds of public tokens were set up to hold tokens, to participate in the token ecosystem, or later stage companies. I mean, there are now many crypto unicorns. The space has become really competitive, even though you say, crypto's had its kind of ups and downs. The thing is, a lot of people in some of those last cycles have seen the kind of venture style returns that can be had in crypto. And so you've had a lot of new funds enter the space. And that's driven up competition.
So what differentiates Haun Ventures then from all of these other crypto funds or even the more traditional venture capitalists like Andreessen Horowitz or Sequoia that also have crypto funds now?
Well, I think a lot of traditional venture capital funds now have crypto funds. It used to just be like a regulatory designation. It was like, are you an RIA, which is Registered Investment Advisor? I would say for crypto founders today, it's not enough to just be an RIA, right? Frankly, I don't even know if a lot of them care. That's a regulatory designation. What crypto founders today want to know is, do you live and breathe crypto? Do you inhale the discords? Are you part of the community? Do you participate in governance? Are you going to be staking these kind of crypto verbs out there? And if you're not really in the space full time, I think it's very hard to run a successful crypto fund. We don't have a hedge fund component. So we're not sitting here buying and trading and selling. That's a hedge fund structure. And there are crypto hedge funds. We're not one. We're making 7 to 10 year bets.
Just how hard is it to launch a crypto fund from scratch?
It's hard, but it's not impossible. We don't have a crystal ball. I don't know, I can't predict cycles, but I knew that we were in a cycle where you saw so much fervor and excitement around the space. And I already talked about what makes us different, but I think one thing also is we are a nimble strike force. We don't fish in the same pond. We have the crypto natives, we have efficient execution, we have operators, seasoned operators who really know how to stick the landing. And I think that's reflected in our culture. I would say the only thing that's changed in our strategy as a result of the market correction is really more of a focus on early stage, but we still have our late stage fund. And when we see valuations, which I think we'll still see correct, spoiler, I think we'll continue to see some corrections. And so we might deploy our later stage fund a little bit more slowly. It might not be on an even 50-50 cadence, and that's okay. Long term, our strategy hasn't changed. Long term, we're committed to the space.
How much do you think valuations are going to correct?
It's just, I can't give you a one-size-fits-all answer because crypto is not a monolith. You have some crypto companies that really follow more of an enterprise SaaS business model. You have others that are layer one protocols. You have still others that are consumer-facing applications. And I think one of the things we're seeing right now is the infrastructure layer, and that's where we're spending a lot of our time, by the way. And we think more and more use cases will come about when the infrastructure layer is in place. So my own view is we are not rushing to deploy. We're certainly not getting caught up.
Do you get VC FOMO, and how do you avoid that?
Look, I think it's very easy to get into that mindset, right? It's because it's a competitive sport. It's a competitive space, and I think I'd be lying if I said that that doesn't influence anyone. What I do, and I think I do differently, is I try to take stock of that. Oh, that's the FOMO mentality kicking in. That's bad. Again, you don't want to overcorrect, though. What we look for is amazing founders. It doesn't matter if I think valuations will correct. If there are amazing founders, there's a huge TAM. We also look for, what's your regulatory plan? If you're launching a token, what's your plan to comply with the law? What's your plan for security, by the way? We've seen a lot of hacks in the space. We want to really dive in there and make sure that the founders have been thoughtful.